Hey everyone, it's Amanda and welcome back. We are doing yet another fun-filled video demo today. This one should actually be pretty quick if I don't talk a whole lot. The actual coming together of the recipe is actually really quick. So what I'm going to do is just run through kind of what we need, what ingredients we're going to use, and then we will get working. So all that we're going to need for this recipe is 1 stick of butter, or that's 1/2 of a cup. Cold is fine because we're going to melt it in the microwave. So I'm just going to unwrap that while I'm talking, and that's going to be placed into our classic batter bowl. And toss the paper. I'm going to go ahead and pop this in the microwave just at regular temperature for about 40 to 45 seconds. So I'm going to start at 40 seconds, see how we're looking, and then if need be, we'll let it go just for a little bit longer. But let me just pop this in there. So again, that's just 1 regular stick of butter. About 40 seconds. Once that comes out, pretty much all that we're going to do is we're going to add in 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1 egg slightly beaten, 1.5 cups of flour. We are using our Pampered Chef double strength vanilla. So this recipe calls for 1.5 teaspoons, but we'll only need 3/4 of a teaspoon. Because we only require 1/2 of the amount of the recipe. And then finally we'll need 1.5 cups of chopped pecans and then some powdered sugar way at the very end. So let me just check my butter real quick. Okay, so it looks like we need a little bit more time on that. So let him go for about 10 more seconds. See how that works. But what I wanted to show you, I have here, this is one of my 2-cup prep bowls. That's about 1.5 cups, not quite there yet. I saved a little bit so I could demo for you one of the new tools that I got, and that is our food chopper. I've finally been able to add this to my repertoire, which I'm really excited about. I was able to chop up all of these pecans in no time whatsoever, and I'm pretty good with a regular knife, but this made it like so simple. And if you're not good with the knife, you're probably good with at least 1 finger, which is really all it takes to work this. So I'm just going to chop down on it. The blades are twisting inside. You can see there on the video that they're moving. And then once I lift up, they're perfectly chopped. So now if you wanted, you could put the bottom on that and, I guess store that if you needed to. But this comes totally apart, is dishwasher safe, and makes it really simple for you to clean. This portion on the top will then come apart and allow you to take that blade out as well. And then this piece, simply just pop it in the dishwasher to get all those little pieces of the pecans out of there. But that, literally it was a couple seconds and it chopped up all those pecans. I'm using one of my flexible mats, which one of the benefits of that is being able to just kind of lift him up, pour him in there, and get all your ingredients. So those are our pecans and they are done. Just another tip that I like to share. When I'm using one of these flexible mats, I just place a damp tea towel on my board. That way I'm able to use this without it slipping around on me. So, and then also in this case, since that side was kind of pecan-y from when I chopped them, I just flip it over and now I got a fresh brand new work surface. So let me check this since it would not stop yelling at me. See if perhaps our butter is still... Looks like it might need a little bit more time. So let me just give that a couple more seconds there. That was, didn't want to do that. It was directly out of the the fridge, so it was pretty cold. But okay, so we'll set him aside. We're all done with that for right now. So what I'll start doing then is measuring out our other ingredients, which we'll need. which we're going to add to our butter. And then is going to be our sugar. So we're going to use both white and light brown sugar in this. We can measure them both right here in our measure-all. You can see the red side. These red measuring lines are for your solid measures. And what you're going to do is push this inside cup. It's adjustable to whatever measurement you need. And then that will allow you to just pack that brown sugar in this case, to just that 1/2 cup measure. But let me grab that, 'cause that microwave is relentless. It's just like my refrigerator. Okay, let's see. Good grief. I think that's okay. That's just about melted. Okay, so there we've got our butter. Let me grab a mix and scrape while I'm over here and kind of mix them up. I think I'll melt the rest. There we go. Just a one little tiny lump in there that was confusing him out, but I stirred him up in there a little bit. He melted just fine. So for this recipe, it's really simple. It's one bowl. We're just gonna microwave our 1 stick of butter. That's 1/2 cup. And then we're going to put in our 1/2 cup of light packed brown sugar. So you can see how that worked. I just had this measured off to 1/2 cup. Allows me to pack that in there. You just want to hold it here at the bottom, to make sure while you're packing it's not going to move down on you. But then once you're done, you just simply press out the bottom there and it comes out for you. Now we're also going to need a 1/2 cup of our granulated sugar. So we'll just move on right to that. This recipe moves kind of quickly, once you get your butter melted. So it really is a pretty simple recipe, something the kiddos could help out with. There's not a lot of difficult measuring. I mean, they could help you while measuring those types of items. I know my little sister always used to love to measure the brown sugar so she could eat any of the little crumbs that fell on the paper towel afterwards. So see, that's a fun kitchen memory that I'll always have. I always think of her whenever I am measuring out brown sugar. She used to always love to try to sneak those, even though I knew what she was doing. Then we're going to take 1 egg, and this needs to be slightly beaten. So I normally crack my eggs into one of our 1 cup prep bowls anyway, just to make sure that I don't have any shell in there, because 9 times out of 10 I do. But in this case, since we have to slightly beat it, this works out just perfect anyway. So double duty here. And then we're also using just our mini stainless steel whisk, which is perfect to fit in here and give you a nice quick beat on that egg. So I'm going to go ahead and pop him right on in there. Next thing we're going to do is add our flour. Set him, there we go, right up there. So we're going to use this in the same measuring cup, and now we need a 1.5 cups. So I am prepared here. Let's go ahead and get our 1/2 cup out of the way, since our measure was already there from our sugars. And since this is a 1 bowl, kind of toss it all in there recipe, I feel pretty good about using the same measuring cup for all the ingredients. So get our 1/2 cup first, pop him in there, and then we're going to push this down until we align the bottom to the 1 cup measure. So now we've moved from 1/2 cup to 1 cup. So we'll fill him up. And I'm doing my flour the way my mom always taught me to, over paper towel. That way I could level it off, but then also still reuse all the extra flour. So there we've got a cup. And for something like flour, that's just gonna pour right out of there for you. But let's say you're working with something like mayonnaise or ketchup or peanut butter, something that was a little more resistant to come out of the container, we'll say. That helps you to kind of just push them right on out. So those are great for that. That's why I love those measure all containers the best. So what we're going to do now is add in our vanilla. And as you recall, the recipe calls for 1.5 teaspoons, but we only need half of that. So that's 3/4 teaspoon. So I have adjusted that on my adjustable teaspoon to 3/4 teaspoon. And then finally, we will need our pecans, which we have chopped that up. Funnily enough, I did, I'm preparing next week at work for a meeting, and I Googled what percentage of people say pecan and what percentage of Americans say either pecan or pecan. And the majority of Americans say it with the con at the end. So less Americans say pecan. There are some Americans that say pecan, but the majority of the Americans end the word, at least, with the con, not the can. I obviously am a pecaner. So, and it said it wasn't even really a northern southern thing, because a lot of northerners will say pecan, but then also a lot of southerners say pecan as well. Or, you know, maybe it's the emphasis. They said it was more of a urban-rural distinction. That is what made, you know, what they found made the difference between who said what. So anyway, I just thought that was kind of interesting. Figured that'd fill up a little bit of time while I was stirring that together. So we've got that all mixed together. That came together really quick. You can see it's a really thick batter. So that's kind of like a shortbread kind of. But what we're going to do is we're going to make pretty small cookies. I can tell you that because we're using our small scoop for this. What it's saying is that it's going to yield about 2.5 dozen. So about 30 cookies. And so what it's just asking us to do is to put a small scoop onto one of our stones. You could use, on the stones, I don't feel the need to have any butter. Additionally, this has a half of a stick of butter, or a half of a cup, 1 stick of butter in it. So I really do not foresee there being an issue with these sticking. So, but if you were using a metal sheet pan, a cookie tray, a half sheet pan, if you felt the need to put some parchment on there, I think that would not hurt anything whatsoever. So you could certainly do that. But yeah, the scoop is nice because if we're making these with my mom and I was little, I would have my little hands all in there getting all greasy with that butter, whereas now I'm able to just use the scoop, and that small scoop is going to give us the perfect size. Let's see, how many will I get on this tray? 1, 2, 3. I get about 20, so we'll have to do about 2 batches here. So what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and let you go. I'm going to bake off my cookies. So they're going to go in the oven for between 12 and 15 minutes. And what you're going to do is then you're going to allow them to cool on the cookie sheet. And then what you want to do is sprinkle them with some powdered sugar while they're still a little warm. So you let them cool for 2 minutes. Then you're going to sprinkle them with powdered sugar, and then you're going to remove them from the rack, and then you'll be good to go. So let me go ahead and get these in the oven, and then I'll come back and we'll show you how to go ahead and finish them off in powdered sugar when we get back. But hang on for me. Be back soon.